And the third game of the day. Welcome back to the Times Union Center in Albany. The 6 seed Manhattan Jaspers against the 11 seed St. Peter's Peacocks. With Phyllis Mangina, H.A. Cannell in the TU Center, the lower seed has gone unbeaten so far today, and St. Peter's looks to continue the trend, Phyllis. They're entering today, though, on a 13-game losing streak, while Manhattan has won 4 out of their last 5 to close out the regular season. Peacocks hoping that some of their improvements that they've made this year will stick in this game, and this has helped. Brianna Richardson, her presence on the team this year.
Well, she's just taken college hoops by storm. She's a dynamic scorer. She can go inside. She can shoot the 3. She's a player that's going to be contended with for the next 3 years. A unanimous selection to the all-rookie team, and she's an electrifying player for this team.
Richardson coming off a 23-point performance in their loss against Monmouth last time out. And then on the flip side, the point guard for the Jaspers, Lynette Tate.
Well, you know, she's taken over a leadership role. They've had several injuries, and she's a tremendous defensive player, but, you know, she can bang down the jump shot or get to the rim, you know, key moments for games, and she has really stepped up her offensive output.
Yeah, she's raised her game, especially on the offensive side of the floor, the second half of MAAC play.
Well, they have really needed her, too. You know, they've lost 3 starting players, which changes the dynamic of the team, and, you know, she's only a sophomore, but you know, Coach Woolen has asked her to step up and be the leader and an older player on this team, and she's taking that on, and she's done a great job doing that.
Jaspers coming off one of their best games of the season. They beat Canisius 53-33. Tied for the fewest points that the Jaspers have allowed this season with a win against Iona back in January. But season low 6 turnovers for Manhattan in that game, only 33 points allowed. They're feeling really good right now entering the MAAC tournament.
It was almost a culmination of how they've been playing this last part of this last 4 or 5 games, and the way they play defense, the help side defense, the position they get as a young group of freshmen and sophomores playing, they're just outstanding. So, you know, I think they've got a lot of things coming together.
Tipping it forward is Worley to begin the game. Manhattan in white, St. Peter's in the dark blues as the 11 seed in Albany. Pollock, the dribble drive in the first possession of the game, gets the bank in.
Well, she's the X factor for this team. I believe she can be an elite guard in the MAAC. She can do just about everything on the basketball court, and, you know, had confidence issues up and down during the year, but seems to be really coming into her own now.
Jackson looking for the answer, can't find the mark.
You know, St. Peter's is in transition. You know, new coaching staff, but they get tremendous effort from Zoe Pirro and Semi Lochner.
Pollock wants 2 in a row. That time misses the mark. Yeah, first-year head coach Mark Mitchell for St. Peter's.
You know, and you look at some of their young players. You know, Cinnamon Dockery gives them just an explosive wing, and she can rebound the heck out of the basketball, getting more confident offensively.
Certainly, even though they're the 11 seed in the tournament, they might lead the league in names. They win the name game. Worley tries to step through.
Yeah, Courtney Worley's having a heck of a year. 3rd team All MAAC. Really has given the Jaspers a presence in the paint.
Now Watkins fires away. Got the 3. 5-0 start for Manhattan. What's St. Peter's looking to do after Manhattan gets off to actually the 3rd 5-0 start in a row in these 2 teams' meetings this year?
Well, I think they got to come down and execute right here. They've taken a couple of quick shots, but they want to get up and down the floor. But they really have to, you know, I think Richardson's got to touch the basketball. She has to have it in her hands. And they got to be careful right here, you know, not to let this get away early. But, you know, right now they're probably going to, like, try to get Richardson the ball, maybe get a little ball screen action for her.
St. Peter's playing as the 11 seed for the 4th straight year. This is already an early danger zone. Now this is Richardson, the standout freshman, over to Jackson, who fires away. Halfway down.
Now she's had a couple shots that have gone in and out for her right there. Oh, good look inside. Just have to be ready for that. But, you know, St. Peter's, they want their guards to play with more confidence. Coach felt like last time they weren't playing as confident as they should be. They have to take care of the basketball more. Manhattan hurt them with live ball turnovers in their last game, and they have to try to win that one-on-one battle on the block each and every time out.
On the board is St. Peter's with Willisha Jackson knocking down the long two.
And they made a little transition with Willisha, and she can stroke the ball. An intelligent player, a hard worker, but they've put her into a stretch four, and it seems to have come in more to her own this last part of the season since they, put her into that role of a stretch four.
Pamela Maicius, the forward junior from Haverstraw, New York. Calling card, though, for Manhattan is definitely their defense.
Well, I mean, absolutely. They're second in the league, and they're doing it with a young squad, but they understand positioning. They understand help side defense.
Well, Pirro on the pirouette there misses. Jackson with the offensive board. So an active start for Willisha Jackson going to the free throw line.
Well, and that's what St. Peter's is going to have to do. If you're missing shots, you got to get second and third opportunities. And the thing for Manhattan, they want to play this game without fouling. They're a terrific defensive team, but they want to do it without fouling and not send St. Peter's to the line. And they have to take care of the ball. And they want to go inside. They think that that's their advantage. Inside to Worley, inside to Pam Maicius.
Very important to try and keep Worley out of foul trouble. That one was on Maicius. Worley averages 3 fouls per game. When she's in there, though, she's a dominant defensive force. 1 for 2 at the line for Jackson.
But you like the rotation that Manhattan has in their front court. They can go Watkins, Hoyer, Worley, and Maicius. Gives them a group of 3 that you have great rotation out of.
Yeah, Hoyer's really emerged in the recent going. 2 huge games in her last 3. Worley called for the travel. Hoyer was really their player of the game, led the game with 14 points in that 20-point victory over Canisius, and also had her first double-double of the year 3 games ago against St. Peter's.
Yeah, not surprised. When she first came into the Willisha Jackson has a pretty stroke. But I'm not surprised. When she first came into the league, her first 17, 18 games, she's one of the best young players that came into the MAAC. And then she suffered an injury that sat her out for the rest of the season, and she's just getting herself back on stride. And understand what coaches want to do and how they want to run the program.
Talking about Hoyer, the junior from Denmark, but meanwhile Jackson, she has all 5 for St. Peter's, keeping them in the game midway through the first quarter.
Well, again, and St. Peter's has young players as well. Jackson's a freshman, Richardson's a freshman, McQueen's a freshman.
Youth is a theme in this game. They're among the active players that are out there that are healthy and good to go. There are no seniors on these 2 rosters.
Well, it might be difficult to handle now, but bodes well for the future. And, a steady player for St. Peter's obviously is Zoe Pirro, one of the really active players in this league. She can rebound the basketball. Now, she has her hands full today playing with the size and against the size of Manhattan.
Hoyer on the circle.
Just continuing her good play. She looks like she's just shooting the ball with such confidence.
Heather Voulin, the head coach for Manhattan, saying that Julie Hoyer is a huge factor in their improved play of late. Jackson sliding in, banks it in. That is 7 points for Willisha Jackson, the freshman from Rahway, New Jersey.
And I love her aggressiveness. She's just taking it to the bigger player, and I love that. Just a little bit smaller than Hoyer, a little bit smaller than Worley. You turn and face and take them off the dribble.
Well, you want your freshmen as a coach to grow right throughout the course of their first season. And Jackson, the last 2 games coming in, had back-to-back double-digit point games for the first time in her career. Now is already on the verge of a 3rd in a row.
Well, that's confidence, understanding what coach wants, playing without thinking, and getting into the freedom of playing in that regard.
Poked away, but then controlled by Worley. Good response overall for St. Peter's, right, after the Manhattan start.
No question. I like Dockery. She's long and athletic. Gives them a length on a wing to play against some of these guards in this league. And, she takes on the challenge of playing some of the tougher players in the league for Coach Mitchell.
There's a bump called with 3 seconds on the shot clock there to keep the ball with Manhattan. St. Peter's battling back, down 4.
Manhattan College has been shaping the greatest city in the world since 1853. But what you'll find here might surprise you. It's a small campus in a big city. It's where strong values meet open minds, knowledge becomes innovation, and changed lives become unbreakable bonds. Because when you welcome different perspectives, you rise above the expected, and the world follows. That's the Manhattan experience.
We are St. Peter's University, a place where students who are eager to learn are taught by people who care, on a campus designed for both to thrive. We're proud to offer incredible learning opportunities and life-changing experiences, and that means our students are prepared to succeed in their fields, in their communities, and all over the world. Get to know St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey.
NCAA college basketball returns to Atlantic City in 2020 when the MAAC teams battle it out in historic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. This destination resort is the perfect backdrop for Division I men's and women's hoops, with excitement and entertainment on and off the court. Whether you come for the day or take advantage of special stay and play packages, Atlantic City's world-class shopping, dining, gaming, and spas await you. Make your plans now for the MAAC Basketball Championships in AC, March 10th through 14th, 2020.
Well, the kids wanted a puppy, but they can be really expensive. So to save money, I just found him a possum.
Dad, I think he's dead.
Probably just playing possum. There he is.
There's an easier way to save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, a few years ago, Mark Mitchell, 2014, went undefeated at Division III Fairleigh Dickinson floor and won a national title. Said he did everything he felt like he could do at that level, now ready to tackle the Division I challenge.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a tremendous program at FDU Madison, and it's been a learning curve. You know, you come into the league, and all of a sudden you're learning all the teams, you're learning all the players. So, you know, he felt like he and his staff have learned a lot through the course of this year, and it's been a transition for the players. They're each learning each other, but you know, he's had tremendous success, and I'm sure he'll do the same thing here at St. Peter's.
Going up against the third-year head coach on the Manhattan side, Heather Vulin, who learned from a couple of the best, Harry Peretta at Villanova, and a couple of different stops coaching under Amy Ruley, the Hall of Famer.
Well, she has such great experience at the Division I level, so prepared for this position here at Manhattan. I think she's one of the great recruiters in the game, a tremendous teacher, terrific staff, and, you know, these players get better each year, and you can tell she's changed the culture of this Manhattan team, and they're going to be a force in this league for a long time.
Maicius able to answer the Piro bucket, a couple of big scoring coming off of the timeout.
It looks like Manhattan, you know, they've had those injuries, you know, to their stars. When you have those injuries, right, it changes your rotation. You have lack of depth, but they've really settled into how they're going to play and really learning each other, and that's why they've won 4 or 5 games and starting to play really well.
Jackson just hitting the glass hard, doing everything well to begin the game. Sets up Richardson, misses the deep three, but you mentioned the injuries. 3 different starters for Manhattan have torn their ACLs during the season, yet this team has persisted on as Maicius connects off the glass.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's pretty good defense from Zopiro, and Maicius just strong move to the rim.
What a start for Maicius, the former walk-on who was able to earn the scholarship mid-season this year. She's tied a career high with 8, and we're still in the first quarter.
Well, they've got Tate on Richardson, and Tate is just forcing Richardson maybe a step out of her range, although sometimes you don't know if she has any range because she can really knock down shots, but trying to keep her just a step or 2 off her range.
And that's the second foul on Jackson, given her start to the game. That hurts. But Coach Vulin, to your point, said that they felt like there were some adjustments they could make on Richardson from the regular season games. She led the game with 16 points at Manhattan in the most recent matchup. Certainly, Coach Voolen respects Richardson as a player, but felt confident about the defensive adjustments coming into the game.
Well, you get enough tape on someone, you've played against them, you learn their tendencies, because everyone has certain things they do well, and you want to try to take those things away from them. And then you keep switching some players on her so that you have a fresh body and fresh legs, trailing her. And it's also been a long season for her. Freshman, there's a lot of games played, a lot on her shoulders at a young age. Right now she looks like she's just a little laid back for me. I want her to be really aggressive right now and get after this game a little more.
She's taken 3 threes. She's 0 for 3 from distance, 0 of 5 from the field. Richardson, the all-rookie teamer, hits her teammate Lochner on the outside, and Lochner does the job from 3.
And Sammy can knock down that catch and shoot 3, shooting close to 40%. She's at 39, and she can hit that shot for the Peacocks.
And that's part of Richardson's game. She's got the headlines because of the 39 points earlier this year, but she can set up her teammates very well.
Yeah, and I think that's going to end up making her, I think she'll be a special player in the league, but I think that's going to make her one of the really good players because she can score. But when you're getting your teammates open and you're getting them involved, they're going to play even harder and better for you. And that'll open up more opportunities for her once her teammates get more confident in themselves.
Pollock crashing all the way in, called for the walk. St. Peter's, the win total, similar to previous years, not a very pretty record, but there are some signs they can be more competitive, Phyllis, in a game like this. As we'll take a look at Pollock here.
Yeah,
probably an ill-advised play.
Yeah, just over-driving there. Really probably should have either pulled up and taken the jumper or pulled it out and gotten a possession. And that's one of the things Coach Boolen said. They want to take care of the ball. They just turned it over too many times, even though they've got wins against St. Peter's.
St. Peter's this year, they have a good turnover margin, second in the conference. They're second in the league in three-point percentage. They can shoot free throws pretty well. Those are a couple of things that can help you win these tournament games. Watkins with 3 to shoot, gets one off. It is short, and that ends the quarter.
Terrific defense.
Nice final possession stop for St. Peter's. Manhattan had the early control, but the Peacocks down by 3 after the first quarter. Pamela Mysius, the former walk-on, showing out early in the MAAC tournament for Manhattan, has tied a career high with 8 through the first quarter.
Well, she's gotten good position in the post, and her teammates are finding her, and she's using the glass. So, you know, they want to go inside and really put pressure on this St. Peter's team in the paint. But, you know, St. Peter's is right there. I mean, it's after that big start, and it's because they're taking care of the ball. As I just said, they had no turnovers. It was their first turnover of the game. But, you know, for the most part, they've taken care of the basketball.
Quick pull-up three. Morgan couldn't get it, but the offensive rebound for Pam Mysius.
Yeah, you have to finish the defensive play with a rebound. You can't keep giving Manhattan second and third shot opportunities.
Makala over to Mysius. Now it's Worley. Misses short. It'll go back to St. Peter's. Well, Heather Voulin said as far as, you know, Mysius earning her scholarship spot, that really Mysius made me play her, is what Voulin said, based on how hard she was competing in practice and everything she was doing.
Well, when you're doing everything the coach asks, and you're preaching that as a coach, that's what you want, and a player's doing that for you regardless of whether you're scholarship or not, if you don't play her, you lose credibility with your team. But when you play her, you reinforce all the values you want in a player in your program. And I believe that's what Pam has done for Coach Voulin.
Well, Pam was saying that her whole approach the entire time was to never act like a walk-on, just to play like she had a scholarship and let the rest work itself out. Pirro has it go off the rim and drop out, and it's still 15-12.
That's the great attitude that you want from a player. You put me on the floor, I'm playing, and I'm going to do everything you ask me to do while I'm there. Good D. Nice cut.
Worley got control of it and finished inside.
Great instincts, way to get to the rim, and Pollock using her pivot foot, which you don't hear that being done anymore, right? Can't pick up your dribble, though, on that baseline.
It could have been close to a 5-second call on the closely guarded, but eventually Pollock able to find Worley for her first bucket. Now it's Pirro again on the face-off jumper. No good.
Yeah, she just can't rush that shot. That's a nice pick and pop. But, you know, the one thing Manhattan does really well, their bigs move. They have good athletic ability. Oh, that's just an unforced turnover for Manhattan. That's number 5. But, you know, they're able to play your pick and roll game with a big hedge because their bigs can get out and guard a guard because they've got length and they move their feet well.
Yeah, Coach Voulin was saying, for our defense to have a player at Worley's size at 6'3", with her athleticism, huge. Offensive rebound for Pirro, tries to put it back up. Maybe thought about the pass there at the end, kind of got caught in between thoughts, and it's back to Manhattan.
But I love the drive and dish by Richardson, hitting her teammate right in the hands. It's a catch and shoot jump shot.
Manhattan team, with all their injuries, has been shuffling their lineup a lot. Only one player, Worley, has started more than 17 of their 29 games this year, as Julie Hoyer, who's really emerged down the stretch of the season, gets the and one.
And you like to see that from the hard work. But watch this position here. Look at where she has the ball. Good job, first of all, getting her above the MAAC, but using her size and her strength to get to the rim off the bounce and then just playing right through that foul.
Longtime Denmark junior national team member.
You can't speak more about the experience that a lot of these international players get playing for their national teams and their national programs. And they come to the States really skilled and ready to play at a high level for these programs. And a lot of people are going to the international players to bring players in to help their programs grow.
Yeah, when we were talking to Coach Frager before the earlier game, the Fairfield-Niagara game, I remember one thing he was telling me about international players, because Fairfield has a few, was just that he feels like they sometimes mature more quickly than the domestic players.
Well, think about what they're doing. They're leaving their families. They're probably traveling 6,000 miles, living in a foreign country. Sometimes they don't even speak the language, but you know, there's a lot they take on their shoulders, and there's a certain maturity level that comes from that.
Micey is coming back in for Manhattan.
Looks like Hoyer got hit in the head there on that board. And she's holding her side of her right head right now.
Oh, Tate was wide open on the inbounds play.
They got caught in a switch, didn't communicate well enough, and wide open, and Coach Mitchell's going to take a timeout.
It was 15-12 after the first quarter. Manhattan has scored 6 unanswered to begin the second, up by 9. Three straight buckets for Manhattan to start the second quarter.
Well, they did a nice job picking up their dribble, but everybody else responding. They went inside. Their bigs got the ball down on the block. That's a strong move by Hoyer. And that's what Manhattan wants to do. They think they have the advantage on the blocks, in the paint, and that's where they're going to go with the basketball.
I asked Mark Mitchell about combating Manhattan's side. He said, well, actually, funny story. 3 of my players grew 3 inches heading into the game. But he was just saying, look, disadvantage in size means your heart has to grow. They're hoping for a special effort against these Manhattan bigs, but good start to the second quarter for the Manhattan forwards.
Well, you got to do different things then, right? Maybe double down on the block, come off of different people, give them different looks.
Piro's a weapon, though, down low on the St. Peter's side. Missed a couple of times. It's still loose, and Watkins yanks it down.
But Richardson's got to touch the ball and make some things happen, whether it's drive and dish or get some scores. It's a big part of their offense.
I mean, for her to have not scored yet, we're 3/4 of a way through the first half. It's very surprising, and St. Peter's is not going to have much of a chance if that continues. Worley adds 2 more.
Well, St. Peter's will live with that jump shot from Worley rather than having her on the block. And when you look at someone like Richardson, you know, Coach feels that she was an under-recruited kid coming out of, Jersey, and was going to go with him to FDU Madison, and obviously she can play at the Division I level. And sometimes you just don't get seen, or people looking at you might not have a good game, but clearly she's got Division I talent and is going to get better and better. good hands there defensively. And that's just forcing St. Peter's. You're off in the passing lane, trying to make them take jump shots, and it's hard to get the ball into the blocks for them. Well, let's not forget, St. Peter's going up against probably one of the best, if not the best, defensive team in the league. Now, they're second to Quinnipiac, but, you know, I was at their Ryder game in Manhattan when they beat Ryder, played outstanding defense against one of the really good offensive teams in the MAAC.
Post up, Worley goes across the lane and scores.
Yeah, you got to take a wider base in the post. Again, they're giving away a lot of height here, but you've got to take a wider base so that she can't drop step against you there.
Talking to Heather Voulin about the Manhattan defense, she loves how athletic they are and feels like they can just make their rotations and use that athleticism to their advantage.
Well, I think they're really starting to understand positioning better. They see the ball so well. Great run out.
Tate back to Pollock.
Unselfish play. Gotta love that. Now that makes you run the floor, and I think Tate understands that. That makes Pollock get up and down the floor because she knows she gave it up, she's going to get it back.
This is a 12-0 run over the first 5 minutes of the second quarter. Manhattan pulling away. Jackson back in with the 2 fouls. That shot is blocked. And there's been a lot of that inside the paint. Manhattan showing off that size.
Yeah, that's a tough shot. She had Brianna Richardson wide open at the 3. That should have been a kick out. And you still have to make sure now, if you're St. Peter's, to take good offensive possessions, better shot selection.
Tate gets the roll.
I mean, all things are going Manhattan's way. They're coming right off of from that. They're 4 or 5 wins, and you could tell the confidence they have in their team and what they're trying to accomplish.
Quite frankly, even though they missed out barely on a first-round bye, they have to like their draw, the way that things were able to shape out in the bracket, because the team that, if they're able to win this game, they get to face is a team they played pretty well against in the regular season in Marist, as Worley gets 2 more. And that's a timeout, Mark Mitchell.
Great job running the floor and Watson finding her. And that makes your bigs run when Watkins finds you. It makes your bigs run the floor. Look at it, straight down the middle of the floor. Good kick up, getting ahead of the pack, and just great position, pushing the defensive forward up the lane, and a gimme layup for Worley.
Worley has all 8 of her points in the second quarter, but to continue the point about, I mean, obviously you don't want to have to play an extra game, right? But it's a good draw for Manhattan to have, Marist is not going to be easy if they're able to advance through this game, but
exactly.
Of those top-tier teams, Manhattan has played very well against Marist.
No question, and guess what? At the end of the day, you finished 4th. You're tied for 4th. You can tell everyone you're tied for 4th, but you got a seed where you have a chance to, possibly get a W in the tournament, which is a good thing for the program. We got a long way to go here, but there are no easy games in this MAAC championships. You got to earn everything you get.
That's what Coach Voulin told me too. I asked her about that. She didn't want to hear about the draw.
No.
Just my opinion.
No, listen.
Whatever it's worth.
Those are things the coaches talk about really quietly in the office.
Yep.
They're never going to let the players hear that. They're never going to let the media hear or anyone else, because guess what? They have great respect for every coach and every program. This St. Peter's team is not going to go away. They've worked hard all year long, for Coach Mitchell. And they got players who have a lot of pride and trying to play well so that they can go into next season and in the spring and summer workouts, understanding that they can do better.
Yeah, the combined results haven't always been great this year for St. Peter's. The win total not up there yet, but Coach Mitchell has said that he definitely feels like a lot of the players on his team have shown individual improvement. It's a very young team. Turnaround for Hoyer. Rebound Piro. But we are 7 minutes into the quarter, Phyllis, and St. Peter's is still looking to score in the second quarter.
Well, they've taken some difficult shots, missed some shots that were in and out of the rim.
It's a good crossover there. Nice move by Cinnamon Dockery.
And that's something Coach Mitchell wants her to do. She's a terrific defensive player. She's a very good rebounder out of her position. But he wants her to be more confident, and they've been preaching that to her, to be more confident offensively and be more aggressive.
Comes from a powerhouse program in high school, Murray Bergstrom, where they have a couple of WNBAers. Epiphany Prince plays for the Liberty currently. Shannon Bobbitt used to play for the Sparks. Came out of Tennessee. Clear foul on Pollock there.
Yeah, that's a great downhill, right? Straight line drive. Anytime you're doing that, you got a chance to get to the rim, and you got a chance to get hand check or fouled.
So Dockery gets St. Peter's on the board with 2 here in the second quarter. Still no field goals, though, for the Peacocks after the first.
Good decision by Tate. Double dribble. Good defense by Sammy Lochner. Moving her feet, playing against a really quick player in Tate. But, you know, Sammy's dad is a coach. Tom coached for years at LaSalle, and now he's over at Lafayette. Was at Delaware for a long time. So that's a coach's kid. Understands angles, understands positioning, pays attention to the scout, knows how to play somebody.
Got to be tough, though, right? If you think about her dad, probably rarely gets to see her play.
You know what? Tom has done a great job any chance he can.
He takes advantage when he can.
Takes advantage when he can. But, you know, you're watching on TV or you can watch on your laptop, so there's a lot of opportunities. And, you know, he made every game that he could possibly get to. Her mom's always here, so it's always great to see the parents following their team. And, you know, those are the unsung heroes throughout all of this, right? You know, their daughters are here, but they're the ones who've been driving them to every practice and every tournament and going through this whole thing with them.
And a lot of the time still traveling long distances to see them play here in college.
Exactly.
Jackson floats it up. She had the big first quarter, then went out with some foul trouble. And still no field goals. 0 for 11 St. Peter's in the second quarter. 5 for 30 in the game. Manhattan, meanwhile, shooting 8 for 12 in the quarter. 54% overall. The arm bar is called on Dockery.
But I like Manhattan's approach to handling pressure. They spread the floor out. You know, they got 2 people deep, and they allow, like, their 2 or 3 players breaking pressure, which gives you more space on the floor to drive or pass. A lot of times people put everybody on the other side of half court, and there's no space on the floor.
Sini Makala with the free throw, the Finland native, the sophomore.
And she can shoot the 3 a bit. Again, you know, just getting more confident and making sure it's a catch and shoot situation. But she's got a really nice stroke and knocking down those free throws. And again, she's had opportunity here with some players out. It gives you opportunity to show coach what you can do.
The 88th meeting between St. Peter's and Manhattan. Richardson. Now Jackson. That one stolen away from Dockery.
Just terrific team defense. All eyes on the ball handler. Cutting off, you know, driving lanes, making it difficult to get to the rim or pass the ball. A lot of deflections for Manhattan.
Worley call for the travel there.
It's good defense there by St. Peter's. Really took them out of what they wanted to do, wouldn't allow any of the handoffs to happen.
Teams met up earlier this season twice, and very similar results, nearly identical final scores. In the first game, it was Manhattan 62-44, and it was 62-46 in Riverdale.
And McQueen can get to the basket quick. Good spark plug off the bench. Played for Roselle Catholic, one of the terrific programs in New Jersey, and that's a terrific move by Zoe Pirro.
Junior from Secaucus, New Jersey. First field goal of the quarter for St. Peter's with under a minute to play. 17-point gain. A nice little head fake right there. Hoyer can't quite convert. It'll stay, though, with Manhattan with the fresh 30.
Yeah, you know what, though? Pushing her just outside the block just a little bit makes that shot short. And that's just playing defense early in the post. You always talk to your post players about playing early, hitting somebody up the lane, keeping them off the blocks. It makes it more difficult to score.
See if Manhattan decides to hold this as long as they can. Doesn't appear that's going to be the case. Tate, little post move, no good, and Pirro with the miss. Lochner knocks down her second three.
Good looking shot from Sammy, knocking down that jumper in transition. We're all sitting here saying take the last shot, and she's knocking down a three.
They'll take that one.
Good D.
Foul is called, though, on Lochner at the very end. Man, that's going to put Manhattan to the free throw line.
Good D until you reach in and try to get the steal with the ball right in front of you.
Yeah, it looked like perhaps with the lead narrowed to 14, St. Peter's might get the steal and a chance to score once more, but instead it's a little swing play there at the very end of the half with the foul call. Tate can shoot two, but misses the first. Tate has just raised her game. 10 double-digit scoring efforts in the last 12.
Great denial over the top, and then it just a scrum for the ball and knock Tate down.
Sophomore from Irvington, New Jersey, goes 1 for 2. She has 5 points. All have come in the quarter.
And she has really grown as a player, taking on everything that Coach Boulin wants her to do and becoming a real leader on this team. A better offensive player as the year has gone on.
McQueen got the shot off, but misses it strong. And a strong second quarter for Manhattan. They had a 3-point lead after the first. They lead by 15 now at halftime. Jaspers put together a 16-0 run to begin the second quarter, held St. Peter's without a field goal until the final minute of the second. And after a 3-point advantage at the end of one, here at halftime, it's a 15-point edge for Manhattan over St. Peter's. Phyllis Mangina, A.J. Cannell. Let's take a look at the bracket in the lower seeds. Taking care of business, Phyllis, earlier today. Iona and Fairfield pulling off the mini upsets. St. Peter's struggling with that endeavor so far, down by, it's down by 15. It's 34-19 again here at halftime. But now let's see the matchups that we already know about. 3 of the 4 have been set up. And what's your opinion on Fairfield against Quinnipiac?
Well, Fairfield's played Quinnipiac pretty pretty closely in the last matchup. And, you know, right now, Fairfield's starting to execute better. They're taking better care of the basketball. The thing that's impressed me with Quinnipiac, though, is their defensive effort all year long. They're holding people to just around 51 points, which is just outstanding. So, you know, that's going, you know, Fairfield's going to have to execute and not turn the ball over. If they're turning the ball over against Quinnipiac's defense, they'll be out running and put some points on the board. And, you know, you got to look at Monmouth and Canisius, the job that those two coaches have done. So it's going to be great games tomorrow. And, of course, you know, the play of Iona against Siena was just a culmination of just hard work by the Iona Gales this last month of the season. Yeah,
outside of Ryder or Marist, Fairfield had the closest game of any team in the MAAC this year against Quinnipiac in the regular season. So that's where the bracket stands right now. Again, it is Manhattan by 15, 34-19 here at halftime.
Well, the kids wanted a puppy, but they can be really expensive. So to save money, I just found them a possum.
Dad, I think he's dead.
Probably just playing possum. There he is.
There's an easier way to save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car.
Just seemed like a workmanlike performance from Manhattan in the first half, up by 15. Big run to begin the second quarter, taking care of business both sides of the ball.
Well, they're playing like they expect to win now, and I think they're just coming off of the last 4 or 5 games of the season where they were playing great basketball. And you know, right now they're shooting 50%. St. Peter's not shooting the ball well, but you know, one of the goals was to pound the ball inside. They got 20 points in the paint, Manhattan.
Size was a known advantage for Manhattan coming in, and that certainly came to fruition in the first half. But offensively, what does St. Peter's have to do to turn this around?
Well, I'd like to see them, you know, stretch the bigs out from Manhattan. Maybe get, you know, Pirro out at the foul line, let her drive by, create some more space for Richardson to drive to the rim, and just kind of go at, really attack the guards of Manhattan. Now, we're talking about a terrific defensive team here. They are really poised in terms of help side. They're really, they rotate well, so they're well schooled defensively. But, you know, there were a couple shots for St. Peter's that went in and out that maybe if they go, there's a little contagious to them, you know. So I think, but I'd like to see them pull the bigs away from the rim and let St. Peter's get to the basket a little bit.
Easier said than done,
No
though, as
question.
you were sort of hinting at there.
Exactly.
Against this.
I could
against
talk
this
about that
Manhattan
all day
team.
long, but to do that kind of stuff, the Manhattan team, their bigs have length and they move so well. So a real challenge for St. Peter's today.
Take a look at some of the highlights in the first half. Courtney Worley, one of those dynamic bigs for Manhattan. A couple of buckets.
Well, you talk about an improvement of a player from one year to the next. You could tell how confident she is in her game, facing up and shooting a jumper, but her real value is around the rim where she can finish, and she's strong and gives Manhattan the presence that they want. But the way she defends, too, I mean, she really helps the guards in all pick-and-roll situations. She's had an outstanding season.
St. Peter's, early on, they were utilizing Alicia Jackson, who scored 7 points in the first quarter. Also, Zoe Pirro, a couple of buckets of her own. Sammy Lochner hitting 2 threes.
Well, they're going to need that. They need some people to knock down threes to open up the paint a little bit more and making Manhattan come out and stretch their defense.
Thing is, for St. Peter's, they need something from Brianna Richardson, unanimous all-first teamer who was held scoreless in the first half. Manhattan leads St. Peter's by 15, coming back for the second half up next. Not to take away from the drama, but it's a little bit interesting because this game features no active seniors on either roster, so the stakes aren't maybe what they normally are in a MAAC tournament setting where certain players are playing for their careers here. But both teams are hungry to advance and try and face Marist on Saturday at noon. This is the 6-11 matchup, and it was a big-time second quarter from a Manhattan team. Again, absent of some of the normal veterans, but just playing well with the healthy group that they have after 3 players went down with ACLs earlier in the year.
Well, Coach Boone talked about a March mentality and how teams that win in March are the ones that want to be playing, and you can see a hungry Manhattan team here. And the big turnaround for them is their commitment to rebounding, and they're out rebounding St. Peter's right now, and they've out rebounded a lot of the teams that they've played against, and that commitment to rebounding goes along with their defensive presence. If you defend and you get a stop, and you're rebounding, you get a lot more possessions.
St. Peter's, meanwhile, 7 of 35 from the field at 20%. Really struggled mightily in the second quarter. Looking to get going offensively.
Coming out of halftime, though, I love the look. A terrific open jump shot at the elbow. You just have to bang those shots down.
Lynette Tate really raised her game of late. Her shot blocked, but a whistle comes in late.
Well, I thought that was pretty good defense. I'd have to see if she hit her on the arm. Sammy Lochner's really giving Tate problems here, taking away some space from her to get her shot off.
Just kind of a late call there, but it was called on the shot on Lochner. Tate 69%. The way that she has raised her game this year has been even more impressive when you consider that over the summer she, as you're going to see the foul call here, Tate had a cyst removed in her shin related to a stress fracture and then had to have a bone removed from a different part of her body, a bone graft to cover the divot that was left, and then later on a metal plate inserted into the leg. That sounds pretty gruesome.
No, that just sounds painful.
Coach Voolen calling it the bionic leg that Tate is working with, and she's going to have some level of pain there for the rest of her career. So when you think about the way that she has elevated her play, 10 double-digit games in the last 12, considering everything she's gone through.
Well, Coach challenged her, and she has stepped up to that challenge since the loss of the players to injury. But, St. Peter's could keep playing and keep working and battling this team. Good job. There you go.
Lochner has had a good game forcing the steal.
And you never know what happens. Look at how, Iona game started. Siena was red hot, and then Iona goes on that 20-2 run to really, get the lead and really pull ahead and get the W.
Worley, she's had her way.
Well, that'll stop any run that you want to make, and they just have to stay to their game plan. Play without fouling and pound the ball inside against this Peacock team. And this is where you find out if your team has discipline, because you have a game. Great, that's a good look there from Walisha.
Worley with the block that time.
Couple things you can't teach. You can't teach size and you can't teach speed. And,
Yeah,
and right now they've got size.
Last time I checked, size mattered in basketball.
Well,
Manhattan is using theirs.
Absolutely, got to know what you're doing and know how to use it.
Pollock, nice. Graceful spin move, missed it a bit short.
Nice pass.
Like the way Lochner's played today, huh?
Yeah, she's done a nice job. Sammy, started a lot of games here at St. Peter's. She's a sound player. She has good fundamentals, and she's a team player. So, and she's really gotten better knocking down her three.
Richardson on the board for St. Peter's. Leads the team as 6th in the conference in scoring. 13 per game. That's her first bucket of the game. They need a ton from her here after her 0 for 7 first half. Foul line 2 for Worley.
I was talking about discipline. There's a game plan that Manhattan has. Now they have a pretty big lead. Can they maintain their discipline to continue with that game plan? Just a little short, need more legs. Good
Richardson,
split.
see if she can get going. Pops in and out for her.
That's a great read. I love the split, and I love the push through in the split and getting some separation to get that jump shot off. Terrific.
When you look at the way Manhattan is playing, Hoyer with the layup that time, not only the 3 players who tore ACLs this year, but the players they lost, the 4 seniors off of last year's team. 2 All-MAAC performers, Amani Tatum and Kayla Grimmie. Lochner off the mark from 3, offensive rebound, though, for Hawthorne.
Well, everybody has graduation. Good drive and nice finish. You lose players to graduation. It depends upon what's in your pipeline, and have those players progressed and gotten better.
Clearly, Mark Mitchell must have spoken to Brianna Richardson about attacking the rim. And making that adjustment here in the second half. Pull up for Pollock.
It's unselfish play on Manhattan's part. A lot of ball movement.
Oh, Richardson's looking to go, and she draws the foul. That was blocked over top by Macias, but a foul drawn first.
Called that on tape. Probably got the body underneath. But I love Macias. She's athletic. She can help the team in so many ways. She's getting better offensively, but it's her defensive play, her shot blocking and rebounding that have really impacted this Manhattan team.
Well, Richardson in this second half, when she has gotten the ball, she's had her radar locked in on the rim right away, just looking to get there if at all possible.
Well, she split the defense there and looked like there could have been some contact underneath. But she needs to push the ball, and she needs to create some offense, not just for herself, but for her teammates, because she'll draw a crowd.
It's amazing, a unanimous all-rookie team performer in the conference. Clearly going to be one of the great players over the next several years in the MAAC. And she was headed to play for Coach Mitchell at a Division III school, FDU. Coach Mitchell said she would have definitely been an All-American. He felt like at D3. It's hard to argue with that statement.
Great look. I love that look from Manhattan. It's a special, they call it, just to get Watkins a jumper and perfect execution.
Manhattan is up by 18. One shy of their largest lead. It was a 16-0 pull-away run to begin the second quarter. That has really made the difference for the Jaspers. Richardson still on the attack. She has 7 points here in the third.
Oh, she's got great quickness. She's good, terrific handle. She just split the D, and then she stopped on a dime. That's a terrific finish.
Had the career-high 39 points. Cracked the top 10 all-time in single game on the MAAC scoring list, 39 against Fairfield in January. Of course, that was St. Peter's last win on the 25th. Out of bounds and a timeout on the floor. Good third quarter for Brianna Richardson, but her team still trailing by 16.
And Brianna Richardson trying to get more aggressive here for St. Peter's, and they're going to need that. That's a great split of the D, and they're going to need more of that as we move along here and finish out this third quarter.
Mark Mitchell, the head coach for St. Peter's, he called it, you can quote him on this, ridiculous that no one else saw Richardson's gifts, as he put it, and that she was going to go play D3 ball if he hadn't gotten this St. Peter's job.
Coaches make mistakes.
He did. He was diplomatic too. He said, "You know what? We miss on people too. That no one's perfect." But he felt like Richardson was extremely under-recruited.
There's so much recruiting going on where people are signing early and coaches get done with their recruiting classes early, and quite often, if you're not in the right place at the right time, sometimes you're not getting the looks you think you should be getting. But it also happens sometimes you're at a game, they're not playing well. You're going out seeing a player. You can only see them play 7 times during the course of a year. Your schedules, their schedules conflict. So, hey, good for St. Peter's because they got themselves a pretty good player.
So Richardson was going to be D3 bound as Tate gets locked up, and that's going to be a jump ball. Dockery and McQueen also were headed to FDU with Coach Mitchell, and he brought them here to St. Peter's. And there are 2 more players that are sitting out this year that were D3 All-Americans. They're going to be eligible starting next year.
Well, obviously they'll have a different look of a team, and only the future will tell where that'll lead to. But obviously, it's a change in the program and a change in coaching, and a coach has to bring in players that they believe can fit into their style and how they want to play.
Courtney Worley able to score. Lochner back to McQueen. Now down low it goes. Hawthorne gets walled off. Pirro deep jumper reigns in.
That was a good job. They moved the basketball, a great drive, and kick from McQueen to set Zoe up. Sammy Lochner is working her tail off against Tate. I like right now, this is the way the St. Peter's team, more pressure, a lot more energy defensively, getting after the Manhattan team.
Tate takes Lochner
Nice.
off the dribble. That was a slice and dice job right there from Lynette Tate.
Well, that's the end of the shot clock. I like putting the rest of the team on the baseline and letting Tate use her explosiveness and her ability to get up and over a player to get to the rim. She's a much more confident offensive player, even from the Ryder game.
Pretty cool to see a player make those types of strides within an individual season.
Well, you don't see that often, but, you know, sometimes necessity makes that happen. And taking advantage of opportunity.
Off the offensive rebound, it's McQueen for three.
And she's shooting 42% from three, so she can do that. She did that a lot in high school. Played for a terrific Roselle Catholic team, and she knows what winning is about, and you have to do that. Zoe Pierce from St. John Vianney. Sammy Lochner played at Abington. There are players here that have won at the high school level, and that's a way you can build that into the college program.
They're isoing Tate.
Oh.
That time Lochner was contesting, but
Oh.
Tate still buried it.
Well, let me tell you what, if Tate can do that and she adds that to her game, and she's one of the better players in the conference when she can shoot off the dribble that way.
Right, because she's not really known for her outside shooting normally, but looked pretty good there.
Well, that's a pretty jumper off the dribble. Good help side D. Great job closing down that driving lane.
Puro sliding in, and Hoyer just using her size.
Yeah, somebody's got to be spotted up outside a little bit deeper. I couldn't see if she was there. So if you're driving, you can just kick if people are coming in to help.
And number 0, Kenya Pollitt. Also in for St. Peter's is number 3, Anna McGuire.
6 on the shot clock here. Need a quick one. It's McGuire splashing it.
Yeah, instant offense. Anna can really shoot the three and stretch a defense out. And that's just being ready coming off the bench.
Well, I'll say ready. She did not play in the last 5 games, getting her first appearance in a while and making one.
Getting a little sloppy if you're Manhattan, and St. Peter's taking advantage of it.
But a traveling violation called with Dockery sliding her foot. Worley's now going to come out. Tuli Mena, the Richmond transfer who's from Finland, into the game. Seems like St. Peter's there. They've been on the verge of making a run here or there, but Manhattan's just, whether it's been Tate or Worley, just kind of put the clamp down.
Well, they'll have a turnover or a missed gimme at the rim. And those are the things that stop you from getting in. You're getting in a rhythm. You're starting to play good defense. You've made a couple of shots. And then you have a turnover or a careless foul.
This is Mena, who actually was able to reach out to the Manhattan coaching staff, just emailed them when she was thinking about transferring from Richmond, and it worked out. Got to campus, impressed the coaches, drew the foul here on Hawthorne.
Good post feed and good job using your body to draw that foul.
If Manhattan can win, they would advance to the MAAC quarters for the 2nd straight year and 3 of the last 4. This is the 7th straight year for Manhattan playing in the MAAC first round. They were hopeful they could get by and get into the quarters off the bat based on the regular season performance. They finished in the 3-way tie for 4th, but lost out in the tiebreaker. And the injuries, of course, did not help. Coach Voolen saying she was still, very proud of her group to finish in a tie for 4th, considering all they've been through this year. So that'll stay with St. Peter's with 7 in the shot clock.
Well, these are the kind of things that help to build a program. Little increments, right? Get better each year. Take that next step. The next step is win this game, possibly get to the next and win that game in the quarters.
Got to put this up. Instead, McQueen loses it. And now it's Makala the other way for Manhattan. They can hold for 1, up by 16 down the stretch of the 3rd quarter.
See if they don't let Pollock go one-on-one here against Anna McGuire. To the zone. I like that. Now they have to try to do something different instead of one-on-one look.
Makala gets one off, though, and makes the three. Siini Makala, the sophomore from Finland, makes it a 19-point lead for Manhattan. Makala, very capable outside shooter. Manhattan up by 19. Knocking one down from distance, Siini Makala.
Manhattan College has been shaping the greatest city in the world since 1853. But what you'll find here might surprise you. It's a small campus in a big city. It's where strong values meet open minds, knowledge becomes innovation, and changed lives become unbreakable bonds. Because when you welcome different perspectives, you rise above the expected, and the world follows. That's the Manhattan experience.
We are St. Peter's University, a place where students who are eager to learn are taught by people who care, on a campus designed for both to thrive. We're proud to offer incredible learning opportunities and life-changing experiences, and that means our students are prepared to succeed in their fields, in their communities, and all over the world. Get to know St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey.
NCAA college basketball returns to Atlantic City in 2020 when the MAAC teams battle it out in historic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. This destination resort is the perfect backdrop for Division I men's and women's hoops, with excitement and entertainment on and off the court. Whether you come for the day or take advantage of special stay and play packages, Atlantic City's world-class shopping, dining, gaming, and spas await you. Make your plans now for the MAAC Basketball Championships in AC, March 10th through 14th, 2020.
Well, kids wanted a puppy, but they can be really expensive. So to save money, I just found him a possum.
Dad, I think he's dead.
Probably just playing possum. There he is.
There's an easier way to save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Then welcome back to the Times Union Center in Albany, New York. A.J. Cannell and Phyllis Mangina. 52-33 Manhattan after the first three quarters, led by the strong play of their bigs. Courtney Worley leads Manhattan with 12 points and 8 rebounds.
Well, they've done exactly what they wanted to do. Is one of their keys to their game is to pound the ball inside. They found ways to get it there. Credit the bigs from Manhattan for getting finished plays, but I just love their execution at the end of the third. It shows real growth in this program and in the execution that they're having here throughout this game. Good help.
And that leads to an offensive foul, and Maicius celebrating afterward.
They have such an awareness of the basketball away from the ball to understand where they should be, where the next play is going, and that's just great execution defensively.
That end of quarter three had to feel good for Makala, who has a great stroke but has mostly struggled with that shot in games the last couple of years since she got here. Looked really smooth on that one, though, and that's going to be a foul in the backcourt on Morgan.
Morgan's got to bounce past that ball inside. Hands were high. If the hands are high, throw the ball low. And if, you know, that's just an unforced turnover for Manhattan. They got to take better care of the basketball here. And they want to keep continuing to grow as a team. They want to play well here, you know, through this fourth quarter.
Yeah, you've been glowing about this Manhattan program, though, and using the word growth just in terms of a program that's this year you feel like is doing things the right way.
Absolutely. Just every facet, tremendous staff, recruiting effort, players are recruiting, how they conduct themselves. It just, you know, you can see such a difference in this program.
Good contest from behind there by McGuire on Pollock's shot. Very close after the first quarter, but then in the second quarter, a 16-0 Manhattan run. They pulled away at that point, and it's been all Jaspers since.
And I've watched them play a lot, and you can see how they think they should win now. It's a real different mindset from this team. There's an expectation that, we should win this game, and they know how to go about doing that. And, I'm talking about that, and someone will say, well, no kidding. To get to that point as a program, it takes a lot of sweat and tears and a lot of time for your players to collectively believe that.
Heather Vulan said she gives the administration a ton of credit because they were patient with her and let her build it her way. She felt like if they had been hungrier for a quick fix in a year like this, they might not have responded too well to all these injuries if she hadn't been able to build and instill her own culture within the program.
Well, that's just great leadership on the part of administration at Manhattan, understanding what they have in hand and seeing what's going on. And they hired Heather Vulan for a reason. And she knows what she's doing, and she's going to do things the right. When you do things the right way, it's going to last for a long time.
Well, and their AD, Marianne Riley, I mean, you were talking to her before the game.
Absolutely.
She gets it, right? Because she was
question.
the first ever scholarship women's basketball player for Manhattan.
Well, and that's why anytime you're going to take a job, you always make sure you know who you're working for. And perfect person in Marianne Riley. I know how supportive she is of Coach Vulan. And look at the same thing for Mark Mitchell. And obviously his first year at the Division I level, great success as a D3 program. And, he's going to build a program in the way he wants to. That's what all head coaches want. And, hopefully they'll give him that same support at St. Peter's. And, we'll see hopefully a different team in the future.
Mysius, new career high for the former walk-on.
You just have to feel good for that young lady. She plays with such enthusiasm. And to see her knocking down that jump shot, really expanding her game.
They played a game of deal or no deal to sort of trick her and surprise her, and that's how they awarded her the scholarship the day after Christmas. No word on whether Howie Mandel was there. I don't think so.
That's fun. No, right? That's fun. And you have to remember, you're dealing with young women, 18, 22. They're in a great time in their life, and you have such a great influence on them every single day. And as coaches, you always have to remember the privilege it is to coach and to be a part of these programs.
It's an offensive foul there. You mentioned Coach Mitchell, though, and I think it was clear talking to him. I think they brought in the right guy at St. Peter's because he covets this challenge. He said the same thing happened to him at his previous school at FDU at the D3 level, where people were telling him, you can't win here in this conference, you can't recruit players to the school, and he loves to hear that. He feels like he can come in and prove people wrong, and he wants to just bring his type of players in, players that are not concerned about anything but winning.
Well, that's what it takes to win basketball games. You have to have people that are hard working, and I think he has a group of kids that have worked hard, and they need opportunities. But you always want to bring in players that play the style you play and how you want to coach them. So there's going to be a transition, and there is on every time there's a coaching change, there's a transition time and a transition period. So, he's not going to want to be patient, but he's going to have to be a little patient because it takes a little bit of time. It doesn't just happen overnight. But as long as these young ladies are working hard for you and doing the very best they can, you'll see a change as you grow through the years with this program.
More great passing from Manhattan to get Worley the bucket. I think that's going to be the toughest part, though, for Coach Mitchell, as that shot from Jackson falls short, because he was saying he's so competitive. He said, if I'm sitting here playing checkers with you, I don't want to lose. If there's somebody in the room who I feel like isn't as competitive as me or isn't really invested in winning, I don't want to be near them. That's what he said. I think.
Well, you don't want to have that. You don't want to change that attitude because that's going to become. You're going to infect the rest of the team with that attitude.
Yeah.
You look at every coach. This team's playing the way Heather Vulan acts, right? Billy Chambers. You watched Iona, what she's gone through in the transformation of that program. Allie Jacks, those kids play the way Allie Jacks is. They are tough-minded, they are aggressive, and they're after you. So you have to have that, and you have to have that belief in yourself as a coach to change a program around.
Manhattan, though, has just continued to get after it as this game has gone along.
Well, there's a way you want to play. I was talking about Quinnipiac plays one way. University of Connecticut, they play one way. And when they're on the floor, they're there to beat you.
Pollock all the way inside. Missed grab by Jordan Hawthorne. And a game featuring no seniors for either side that are at least among the players that are healthy and able to play today. As McQueen knocks one down.
It's a nice looking stroke by McQueen. And, you know, again, every time you're on the floor, you're trying to impress your coach. You know, why should coaches say to you, why should you play me? How do you play? How hard do you play? Are you paying attention to the scout? So every time you're on the floor, it gives a coach another reason to play you if you're working hard at it.
We've gone a long time with no whistles, so finally Coach Voolen calls timeout to get those subs in Manhattan in control. The 3-seed Marist waiting on Saturday at noon. Manhattan and Marist split the regular season series. Manhattan in this game a 32-12 advantage in paint points. Phyllis, can they make that translate, that type of effort with their bigs into the Marist game?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, obviously, you know, we got 4 minutes left here, but looks like Manhattan here will advance unless St. Peter's really gets it going. But, you know, the guard play for me is always so important when you're playing against a Marist. You have to be able to score against them because of how they play, because they can score the ball. But I think post play can be a huge deal there. They can throw the ball inside and attack them inside. But I think it's the play of the Manhattan guards that are going to really be
going right back to a commercial. Stick with us here. Manhattan still up big. It is Manhattan up 58-35. Final stretch of play. Phyllis Mangina with A.J. Cannell in the Times Union Center. First round action in the men's bracket coming up later on today.
Now that's going to be interesting. John Dunn, now at Marist, playing against St. Peter's. Shaheen Holloway, the men's coach. Shah was a player at Seton Hall when I was the head coach at Seton Hall, so I'll have no rooting interest. I'm just going to watch. John Dunn's one of my favorite coaches. Worked with him when I was at St. Peter's, and he was also an assistant coach at Seton Hall when I was there. So, interesting draw. So at least a little drama there.
Well, Coach Dunn knows that he's well aware that his former players are going to try and stick it to him.
Absolutely. Well, they went up to Marist about 2 weeks ago and beat St. Peter's beat Marist at Marist. So
St. Peter's men have not had a ton of success this year, but they played well against their former coach.
Little incentive. You know, you're St. Peter's here. You just want to finish on a high note, playing hard, play with some energy, support each other.
Morgan got all the way inside, gets her own miss as it turns out. My one final note, by the way, on the men's side for tonight, I think that Niagara-Monmouth game, for a first-round game, those are two of the most talented teams in the conference, bar none, that are playing each other here tonight.
Well, and there should be a great night of men's basketball.
Looking forward to it. Manhattan and Fairfield, the third game of the, we'll talk about the three different men's matchups later on today, but 2:44 left to go in this one.
Yep.
6 seed Jasper's primed to advance.
Now they have played really well. They've executed offensively exactly where they wanted to go. They've defended well. I think they did a good job on Richardson, but I think Richardson might be a little banged up. She's all taped up, and you know, obviously if you're Coach Mitchell, you don't want to get her hurt anymore. But did a good job early on her. Took looks away.
Just probably protecting her for the rest of this game now that the margin has gotten so large. That's a blocking foul called inside, as Hoyer was able to slice in.
Looks like they hit knees there, so good try by Holmes to try to come across and take that charge.
Coach Vullin was talking about the way that Worley moves at her size. How about, you know, offensively, you saw it there. You gotta love Hoyer's mobility at 6'2".
That gives them advantages. You know, they could stretch a defense, pull people out and go by them. And again, I talk about the hand check rule. It gets you in foul trouble and gets you on the free throw line.
What do you think of the overall outlook of the MAAC tournament on the women's side? You know, Quinnipiac is the massive favorite, but does anybody in particular stick out to you this year?
I talked to coaches, and they really feel like everybody has an opportunity. Now, you know, 2 years ago you're talking about Quinnipiac, and I think anyone was beating them. But I think right now people really believe they have an opportunity. I love Ryder's team. They've played well together, and they have all the pieces. They remind me of their team from 2 years ago. And great look inside and a good finish. And that's what you want to see. Just keep attacking. And
Valina Holmes, who's playing in her 5th game of the season, getting a look.
Practice hard and great job throwing the ball away from the defense, using your left hand there and finishing the play. But, you know, Ryder has all the ingredients. They have size. They play really good defense. They have an outstanding point guard in Lexi Posset. And they have a tremendous player in Stella Johnson and Imani Johnson. I mean, their wings can really bother you defensively. So I think they have a great opportunity. But, you know, they got to play an Iona team tomorrow that can give you a lot of trouble because of their guard play. So they had better be locked in and prepared to play.
McQueen knocks down the 3. Some late buckets coming in for St. Peter's. Timeout Manhattan. I got to tell you, Iona looked extremely confident earlier on today.
No question.
With those guards.
Getting her feet set. She's capable of knocking down threes. You love the pressure from St. Peter's and getting them turned over. And let's finish this season on a good note. And you're losing, but you want to play and have some energy and enthusiasm towards the end of this game. And, you know, obviously they have a lot of things they have to work on in the offseason. You know, get out recruiting, bring some different players in. And then, you know, they have to get after it in spring and get better individually. If you get in better individually, you're going to help your team.
They can still say, you know, 6 wins, not great, but they can say it's the most wins since 2010-11. when they won 11.
Send somebody long.
Try to build on that. Pollock. Good to see St. Peter's playing hard to the wire here.
Absolutely. Expect that. I know these young ladies, and you expect that from them. And that's what their coaches expect, and what you want to see every night representing your team, your family, and your school.
Pendergrass takes the 2. Mena with the box out.
You like seeing different players get an opportunity. Again, you're practicing hard every single day and working at it.
Especially here in the MAAC tournament, always fun to play in this setting. Both teams pretty much emptying the benches at this point.
Nice. Got to finish that at the rim. That little bunny, you want that every time.
Under 50 seconds to play, 21-point game.
Good pass.
Lochner shot the ball pretty well today, misses short that time. And Manhattan pulled away in the second quarter. They're the first higher seed to advance. 2 upsets based on the seeds, at least in the first 2 games today. Manhattan once again playing the 3 seed Marist on Saturday at noon.
You know, it just shows you how competitive the league is, and every game can be a tight game. Anyone can win. It's going to be an exciting quarterfinals and championship here the rest of the way.
Quarterfinals resume tomorrow on ESPN 3. That'll do it for this one. St. Peter's and Manhattan and the 6-seeded Jaspers take care of business with a 21-point victory. Phyllis is going to talk to the winning head coach, Heather Voulin, and would think Courtney Worley will be coming over. The player of the game for the Jaspers. Worley finishing the game with 1 rebound shy of a double-double, 16 points and 9 rebounds for Worley and 3 assists. Manhattan already also had Mycius and Tate in double figures. Looks like Phyllis is going to be set to go here with Coach Voulin.
Coach, you have to be so pleased. You talked about Canisius and how you expected to win, and it seemed like you carried that over today in this first round.
Yeah, the thing with this team is we're young, and once we start to get that confidence that, hey, we're a good team, we're supposed to win, this is really going to be a bright future for this program. And I think we're starting to get that. We're really starting to gel and click, and it's exciting.
Well, one of your emphasis was to go inside, and you really pounded St. Peter's on the glass and in the post.
Yeah, you know, I think we're really blessed. I think Courtney and Julie and Pam, I've kind of got that 3-headed monster there in the paint. Doesn't matter who's in, all 3 can rebound, you know, really great, and they want to score now, which is exciting, because earlier in the year it was kind of a struggle to get them to shoot, but now that they want to score, I mean, now we're scoring more points, so it's exciting.
Well, congratulations, a terrific win today, and good luck in the next round.
All right, thank you, Phyllis, appreciate it. Thank you.
Courtney Worley joined us. Tremendous effort today. Coach wanted to go inside and attack St. Peter's and took advantage of your size in the post. Just talk about your mindset today.
Our game plan was to play inside out, so if I had the post up, I was trying to be aggressive and going up with it.
And then you're facing up and shooting that jump shot, but I love your defense today on Zoe Pirro inside.
Yeah, if offense doesn't work, we always just try to control what we can control, and that's defense. So that's always been a big emphasis for our team.
Well, congratulations on a terrific outing today, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Back to you, AJ.
Thank you, Phyllis. 62-41 once again is the final, and there you go. Our Geico player of the game, Courtney Worley. 16 points and 9 rebounds, just 1 shy of a double-double in 26 minutes of action. 3 double-figure scores again for the Jaspers. Tate, Mycius, each had 10. The former walk-on Mysius, impressive showing for her to have 8 points in the first quarter and come away overall with a new career high. St. Peter's finishing with nobody in double figures. They were led by Tiara McQueen with 8 points. She was 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. Here's the bracket as it stands right now. And all 4 matchups are set up for us with Quinnipiac playing Fairfield. Fairfield performed very well against the Bobcats compared to most teams in the regular season. Looking forward to that matchup along with the others in the quarterfinal round. This has been a presentation of the MAAC tournament on ESPN for Phyllis Mangina, AJ Cannell. With Manhattan taking care of business against St. Peter's 62-41.